Hey everybody, we're just talking buckets. I am Nick,
I'm Mikey.
and today we're back with some more NBA action. Really fun game last night. Lakers ended up beating the Grizzlies twice, which is so cool. Sorry. But also Carmelo Anthony getting a ninth place as the leading scorers in the NBA history, which is kind of sweet.
Yeah,
What do you think about that game?
that was a good game. I got nervous at the end. I really did, but I'm glad John missed the free throw. 100%.
Yeah, he also missed a really big pass. Did you see that? You know which one I'm talking about?
No. Which
Oh my
one?
gosh, they got to stop a turnover, and Steven Adams leaks out. Luckily for him, or for the Lakers, John Morant overthrew a wide open Steven Adams, which would have made it a 1-point game with a minute and a half left.
I remember that too.
Huge. It was just such a moment that could have been just terrible, and then the Lakers starting 0-3, which is not a good look for anybody. But
Yeah. No, it's good. I'm glad we have a first win. Get some good mojo in the team. Sometimes that's all you need, you know?
yeah, it's definitely good to get started, and congrats Carmelo, like we were saying. It's good for him. Right
Yeah.
now, we've got a pretty packed evening around the NBA. We got 8 or 9 games, and so we're going to, like we do always, we're going to simulate through most of them but one, all of them but one, and then we're going to watch and commentate on the game that we think is going to be the game of the night. So we've got a couple choices here. We're going to run down this list, and then we'll make our decision. Mikey, why don't you run through a couple of these as I'm getting our stream ready to rock.
Couple games. Trailblazers, Clippers. You got the they have a little rivalry that might be fun. Bulls, Raptors, Heat, Magic, Nets, Wizards, Hawks, Pistons, Bucks, Pacers, Celtics, Hornets. That might be fun. That game went to overtime. Cavs, Nuggets, Pelicans, Timberwolves.
Pelicans, Timberwolves, that would be an interesting one, just because we haven't seen those guys yet. They're kind of teams that have a big question mark on them, but that doesn't necessarily mean we want to watch those games.
Yeah,
Cavs,
and
Nuggets
Zion
would be.
injured.
Oh yeah, Zion's injured. That's true.
Yeah.
Cavs, Nuggets might be interesting. What's going on in that one?
Halftime, Cavs up 50-46.
The Cavaliers are winning that, huh?
Yeah, the Cavs started out hot last year too. I think in the beginning of the season they had a really good record. It was over 500, and then they returned to normal Cavs form. But
yeah, I'm thinking either Cavs, Nuggets, or Blazers, Clippers. What do you think? I'll let you choose today.
I want to look at Blazers Clippers. I think.
Blazers, Clippers. All right.
I think
That
so.
means we are going to be simulating through the other games on this list, starting with the Bucks and the Pacers. I expect the Bucks to win this one. What's the score of this one tonight? Bucks at Pacers. As we start our simulation.
The Bucks won by 10, 119-109. Giannis with 30 and 10 and
Wow.
9. Malcolm Brogdon with 25 and 7.
Okay.
Yeah, the Pacers can't catch a break. They have a nice roster, but I mean, it's a tough league. I guess that's all there is to say.
Yeah, they're going back and forth here in the second quarter, but if 2K is simulating accurately, I think the Bucks will pull away in the end here. Let's speed this up a minute. And no, we have our first loss of the evening. The Pacers in 2K beating the Bucks. That's a very interesting development there. We are right now, as you saw earlier in the stream, we're 25 and now 16 on our year.
Hey, can you share on screen on Discord as well?
Yes, I always forget.
It's okay.
There we go.
There we go.
There you go. All right. Next game up is Charlotte taking on Boston at home.
That game just went to overtime.
Oh my
Um,
goodness. Actually, uh, that could be a game we watch. We seen the Hornets yet? And I guess we've seen the Celtics play. Are you more
yeah,
interested in the Clippers Blazers or would you be interested in the Hornets Celtics?
I think I'm equally interested in both. Not both like 50% interest right now.
Yeah. I think we save this one, honestly. I think this is a great matchup to watch. The Hornets are hot right now, and it's the overtime game. This feels like the game to watch tonight, actually.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'm down.
So yeah,
That
so
sounds nice.
we will watch the Celtics Hornets. That means we're moving on to Pistons at Atlanta Hawks. We're gonna sim this one here. What we got so far?
So the Hawks took the win 122 to 104. Who was hot in this game?
Yeah, Pistons.
Trey
I
Young.
don't expect them to win this game ever.
Yeah, Trey Young 32 and 9. Sadiq Bey has been having a good start to his season for the Pistons. He had 21. Kelly Olynyk had 21. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
good numbers for a kind of sorry Pistons team, but yeah, Hawks win by 18.
yeah, not really a chance, especially with the Hawks at home and is in the third quarter. They're pulling away a bit from the Pistons, and they win by 17, like super accurate, almost on the nose right there for
Yeah.
2K. Nicely done. What was
He-
the end? What was the end score?
104 122.
Dang, that's pretty close, actually. All
Yeah.
right, nicely done. Let's go to the Miami Heat hosting. Is it the Wizards or the Magic? Are they playing the Magic or the Wizards? I have Wizards, but I think it's Magic, right?
Yeah, they played the Magic tonight.
How'd that go?
The Heat won 107 to 90. Jimmy Butler had 36, 15 for 21.
Yeah,
Tyler Hero's still playing well. Yeah, the Magic just don't have
much.
kind of like Pistons. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
just kind of.
they're gonna take a lot of L's, and the 2K gods think the same. Let's move it on to the Raptors versus the Bulls. I would hope the Bulls are winning this one, but you never know. Raptors can surprise people.
Yeah. Um, Raptors Bulls. The Bulls definitely won that game in real life by 3. It was close.
And the Wizards played the Nets tonight as well. Did I miss that game? I think I
Yeah,
did.
the Nets won by 14.
Okay, so
And
we'll go. We have to
kind
sim
of
that
a
one
popular
first.
popular storyline in the NBA right now is James Harden and the new foul call
Oh
change,
yeah,
drawing fouls.
how many fouls?
He's been he's been not scoring as much as he has in the past,
People
and
were complaining about that. Yeah,
a lot of people think it's because of the new. And it's true. He's drawn like I don't know what the stat was. 3 less
oh, big upset in this one.
fouls in the last 3 games
Who won
or
tonight?
something. The Nets.
Wow, they had it, and then in the simulation, right at the end there, must have been a buzzer beater by Beal, but the Wizards take that one. Wow, interesting. Man, we're 2 for 2 so far tonight. 2 for 2.
In Brooklyn. Yeah, that's a little bit of a suspect pick from 2K.
Yeah, bummer. All right, moving back to the Raptors Bulls. Go Bulls, right?
Yes. Go Bulls. Big
Bulls
Bulls guy.
Bulls won in this. Bulls won tonight.
Yep. The Bulls won 111 to 108. DeMar had 26. Levine had 22.
This one going back and forth. How about Caruso?
He had 9, I think it was, maybe less. Caruso had 8, 2-2. Classic Caruso game.
Yeah. This one's close. 87-84 in the fourth. Going back and forth. 92-91 Bulls. Come on, Bulls. Hang in there. I want another win. Yes. Push that lead. Yep. Looks like they held on by 5. 106 101. I love seeing the W's come through.
Nice. Yep.
Nice. All right, next we got a Timberwolves game. Oh,
Timberwolves Pelicans. These
Pelicans.
these guys are in the same tier. I feel like they're virtually identical teams.
And honestly, well, except for the Timberwolves have a chance this year. I don't know if the Pelicans have a chance. What do you think?
Zion, they do.
Well, what's the score right now? They're in the second half.
Yeah, Pelicans are up 104-88, so they ran away with this one.
Oh,
But
they actually won.
yeah, they did. Unfortunately, the Timberwolves, I think, are gonna have a lot of games like that. They're just inconsistent. Like they can go crazy one day and then just not play very well the next. D'Angelo
Mm.
Russell, 3 for 14, 9 points.
Yeah, that's too bad for him because you want him to succeed, but at the same time, he's just gonna do what he's gonna do. As the Timberwolves, 2K thinks the Timberwolves are really good right now. So good job on the Pelicans for pulling what 2K would consider the upset tonight. But Timberwolves running away 123-96. We're right
I think
down
I
the
would also,
middle.
I think I would also pick the Timberwolves if I was predicting.
Yeah,
So that one's a little bit shocking too. Yeah.
honestly. Another good game that's still going, and one that I would watch. Cavaliers in Denver. If the Cavaliers can play really well, they're going to be an exciting team. Like you were saying earlier, they might fall off as we go, or they could be past their growing pains and really do something this year. We'll see. Looks like Denver's going to win this simulation easily by 18. Who's ahead right now? Cavs still? A half?
Cavs are Cavs are up by 2, 50-48 right now.
Okay. So that one very
Kevin
much
Love
in the balance.
Kevin Love's having a good game.
Good for Kevin Love. I wonder if he'll be traded to a good team. I hope so.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
next, before our game of the night, we are going to watch the Hornets Celtics game. Almost watch the Clippers Blazers, but we're going to sim this one as we're not that interested in the Clippers as a whole. Really interested in the Blazers, but these guys are going to play again. This will be a staple that we'll definitely come back to. But just the fact that the Hornets are so hot right now and the Celtics are desperate to prove themselves, not like win or go home type of desperate, but desperate to like prove themselves. I think that's a great matchup. Two really hungry teams tonight.
Yeah. I want to look. What's the Trailblazers record right now?
I think they're
They
one and
are.
two, 2-1, 1-2.
They're 1-1.
Oh, 1-1. Okay, so they could go either way tonight. And 2K thinks that they're gonna run away with this, even though that are they in LA? Yeah, they're in LA, and Trailblazers not having any trouble whatsoever with the LA Clippers. This one's in the books.
CJ
138, 127. Actually, the Clippers made a run there. What were you gonna say?
CJ McCollum has been averaging 31 this season. I mean, it's 2 games, but I wonder if that's like a conversation CJ and Dame had, pretty
Like,
much saying
I want
like,
to score
okay,
more.
no, like maybe Dame was like, all right, bro, I love you, but I want Ben Simmons, so I'm gonna let you pop off, get your trade value up. Trade,
No way. No way.
dude. Because look, Dame is averaging. Let's see what Dame's averaging right now.
Okay, pause before this. Can you believe LaMelo Ball is higher than Marcus Smart? He's almost at Jaylen Brown level. LaMelo Ball's an 84. Marcus Smart a 79. What do you think about that?
I agree for
Hmm,
sure. I for sure
interesting.
agree with that.
I don't think Marcus Smart would agree, but we'll see how tonight goes.
I mean, I was watching him today, and I was even like, I would trade him. I love Marcus Smart. I love what he brings defensively. But tell me right now, you wouldn't rather have
To
Terry
shine through.
Rozier than
Moving on
Marcus
to the
Smart.
city, more classic favorites are back.
Offensively,
Start your
I'd
engines and
agree with
finish the
you.
race at Mobile One Grand
Defensively, I'd
Prix.
probably rather have Marcus Smart. It's a defense offense kind of a question for sure.
That's
All
the
right,
thing. Again, it's that trade offense for defense. What Terry Rozier gives you offensively,
yeah,
and he doesn't lack a lot defensively. He's a solid defensive guard.
right.
Like I want Terry Rozier for sure.
Well, we'll see what happens in our marquee matchup. In real life, they went overtime with the Celtics sneaking way ahead, winning by 11. That's always weird when teams do that and they all of a sudden like hit overtime and they really hit a stride. Maybe one team just really falls apart. The Hornets definitely fell apart tonight. We'll see if the 2K simulation gives us a close game or if one of these teams run away with it. Maybe Gordon Hayward will have a great game.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown really was the one who iced the game today. He had a couple big threes down the stretch and a big
Dang.
poster.
If he has 30, which he did, and Tatum has 41, which he did, that's the kind of Celtics that we expect to see succeed in the East,
Yeah.
As we come over here to the tip, just looking at this box score, Celtics are kind of top heavy with Tatum and Brown. If Schroeder gives you 23, which he did tonight, okay, you're going to win some games. But you look at the Hornets overall, Hayward 15, Bridges 25, Plumlee 12, Lonzo or not Lonzo. LaMelo 25, 19 from Kelly Oubre. Just like honestly, these guys are going to give it to you all around, all 5 spots. Even their bench can score. McDaniels with 13, Smith with 10. They're going to be a hard out for anybody. You're going to have to play them every single night. They're going to come ready.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like quietly deep. You got Ish Smith as your backup, you know. I think he matches their brand of basketball. They're a fun team to watch. They are. They're 3-1. They were about to start 4-0 this year. But during overtime, they're kind of inexperienced young selves and
And
kind of showed through.
yeah, did Terry Rozier even play tonight? I don't see his stats. He's in here in the game right now, but I don't see him on the box score at all.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, why he's not playing right now, whether it's injury or some personal reason. I'm not sure, but he's been out a couple games.
Interesting. 2K needs to jump on that as it's a close one early. Couple free throws, couple fouls going down. Logging back into our Twitter here. Follow us at J Talking Buckets on Twitter, where we post our favorite basketball videos, our thoughts, and I'm retweeting right now Jaylen Brown throwing it down. Wow.
I'm kind of disappointed in the Celtics front office. Let's talk about that real quick. They have these. I just think they have these 2 all-star wings. That's such a good setup for a successful team. And the fact that it's been 5 years since this nucleus has been together, and their roster looks virtually the same, if not worse. Like, you got to find a way to upgrade other positions, even if it means giving up a guy like Marcus Smart. I do understand what he brings, but like, you can't remember the last decent big man the Celtics have had, right? And that's like, I think that's a big hole for them.
Well, Horford is a good big man. He's older now, but when they started, that's the pendulum swinging from the young guys aren't ready, now your veterans are too old, but your young guys are starting to hit their prime years. So that's why I'm not so worried, because Tatum and Brown are so young still that they're going to have another 5 to 9 years of just top of your game play style. But I see that as, yeah, if you wanted to get someone, they tried to get Anthony Davis, but they couldn't. He wanted to be in LA, it feels like. Who else would they have gotten, right? Like, was Anthony Davis their only chance?
I don't know. I guess I'm comparing it to the Hawks. Trae Young was drafted, what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? And they're pretty much contenders. They're on the verge of being contenders already. And Trae Young's, what, third year? I guess the Mavericks are more of a close comparison to Boston in the way the front office is struggling to build a team.
I would agree, except for the fact that Boston was in the conference finals with this group, which Trae Young was. So they
while
got
they were young.
Yeah, they got that same. So right now they're about even. If Trae Young goes to the finals before the Celtics, yes, that's a huge red flag, because why would that even happen, right? You can't allow that to happen.
It's just like one off season, the Hawks got incredibly deep. They're probably the deepest team in the league. Like Cam Reddish, I guess they're constructed differently. It's different when you have a superstar guard,
Point guard specifically,
and then you can surround him with more 3-and-D. I believe that's more.
That's what
of an avenue. It's more of an avenue. I think that's a bigger success avenue, because I mean, if you give a mediocre guard to these wings, right, it kind of just restricts the full potential of your wings.
My big question is, why didn't Julius Randle go to Boston?
Yeah, that would have been really nice. I believe probably money. I think the Knicks probably just offered him the most, and he was like, "All right, cool."
I wonder if they were even in that conversation, though. Like you're saying, they want a big man. Julius Randle isn't huge, but he plays the power forward position, and he actually would fit really well with Brown and Tatum as like a point forward.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. He would be amazing.
Maybe the Celtics are kicking themselves a little bit, not thinking that Julius Randle had that kind of potential. But you look around the league, who else could it have been? Not Anthony Davis. He's coming to the Lakers. Joel Embiid is in Philly, so he's not moving.
I think nobody could. It's tough because nobody could predict Julius Randle, like the player he is today. Nobody saw it coming. His game seems so, like, I don't know, boundaried when he was younger, and like, to be fair to the Celtics, nobody saw that potential.
Except for he was drafted second overall. This is a great conversation. I want to come back to Julius Randle and the Celtics. But at our first break, I believe that the Hornets are up on the Celtics early going into the second. Our stop in the action gives us a chance to talk about this. Did you see this? NBA Power Rankings of the season came out. I believe the second one. Can you guess the top 5 power rankings? Let's see if you can do it. Who are the top 5 today power ranked in the NBA?
I saw one of them already, is the Warriors, which I don't know where they are. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I guess I'll go 5.
Okay.
I'll do the Bucks are up there.
Give me a number.
Probably number 1.
You need 2, 3, and 4.
2, 3, 4. 2. I will go with maybe the Heat.
At 2? Okay.
I'll go with Chicago's 4, maybe.
Okay.
And then
number 3.
Number 3, I'll do. Who looks dominant this year?
Shooting for Boston, Peyton Pritchard at the line for 2.
You just give me a guess. You don't gotta be right.
I know, but I'm looking through these teams, and it's kind of like, I guess I'll go with maybe The Knicks? I don't know.
All right. That's a good guess. You got 2 of the 5, and you didn't get any of them in the right order. At number 5 coming in are the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn Nets are the 5th ranked power team. Number 4, which you guessed, this team just not in the right order, is the Bucks. They're at number 4. Number 3 are the Nuggets, not on your list. The Nuggets are number 3. You guessed the Warriors at 5, but they are number 2. And the number 1 ranked power ranked team is the Utah Jazz, coming in at number 1. They're 2-0 and apparently playing really well. So there's your top 5. Here's your bottom 5. This one's kind of fun.
Hold on. See, there's no criteria for that kind of thing. Like the Nets being in that, they're 2-2.
Here's what power rankings look at. They look at like point differential. They look at points per game. They look at defensive points per game. They just look at those stats, and then they make the decision. It's not really wins or losses necessarily, but it's like, oh, this team has the first place offense in the league, and then like third place defense. So now they're power rank number 1, kind of a thing. It's a little bit of art, but like they do look at the stats. So that's why the Jazz are there for sure. I don't think anyone's gonna.
That's crazy. I guess
they
that's
do.
crazy. I gotta watch the Jazz.
Yeah, we haven't seen them yet on our stream. So the bottom 5 are pretty obvious. OKC 30, Rockets at 29, Pelicans at 28, Pistons at 27, and the Magic at 26. So that's your top to bottom of the league in power rankings.
Dang, the Pelicans are below the Pistons.
Yep, not looking good over in New Orleans.
Yeah,
Definitely not. As we look back at our action here, Charlotte is up on the Celtics 18-4. 18-4. Let's go back to Julius Randle because I think that's a great conversation of expectations. I know that you're a big fan of Brandon Ingram. I know that you're a big fan of Julius Randle. If you had to pick one of those guys, who would you pick knowing where they are right now?
Julius right now. Yeah. Julius, he's proven to be
Take a break.
more effective if you're looking for wins, right? And he's, I think, more versatile. Brandon, he's a great scorer. He's an elite scorer, but he's an offense stopper. I think with Julius, at least I know I'm getting
Some assists.
some movement. Yeah, it's hard to
offensive
tell.
rebounds, right?
It's hard to tell how much of the inefficiencies were like, or the, because BI is still giving you 27, 28 a game. He's consistently doing that for you. So it's like sometimes we have to look at the team, kind of like Zach LaVine and the Bulls last year. It's like BI is probably not the issue, but it's more so the coach and the players around him. So, but still, I would probably say Julius Randle in a vacuum.
I don't even think you have to have a vacuum. I think you look like, of all of the bigs, right, players that play the 4 and the 5 spot, there's not many players that play that spot that are actually strong enough to hold their ground, can get you assists. That's why Nikola Jokic has such a, favorable MVP vote last season, because there's just not a lot of bigs doing what he does. You have Joel Embiid, him, Anthony Davis, Bam Adebayo, and then everyone else is kind of interchangeable at that point. And then so Julius Randle, I would say, is probably the 5th best big in the league, unless I'm forgetting someone.
Yeah, I don't think so. But I also think he's in the conversation. Like Clint Capella is a solid big.
I'd rather have Julius Randle.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, on the if you're looking on the Hawks, I think Clint Capella is probably a better fit for them, right? Just like a lob threat and a defensive anchor, like a tall rim protector.
Right, but he's not top 5 big in the league.
I wouldn't say 5. I'd probably put him around 7 or 8, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think Julius Randle might be top 5 in the league for just 4s and 5s, right? He made the All-Star team. Great season last year. Looks to be just as good this year. So we'll see. Dennis Schroeder bringing the Celtics back into this one, and he had a good game. And I worry for the Celtics for this reason, knowing Dennis Schroeder. If he has a good game, your team usually wins. If he has a bad game, your team usually loses, which is such a hard thing when you're not the star of the team. Like if LeBron has a bad game, Anthony Davis has a bad game, Kevin Durant has a bad game, Steph Curry has a bad game, you're gonna lose probably, right? But if your third best player has a bad game and you lose, that's a liability right there. And I think that's what Schroeder is. That's what I saw last year with the Lakers. You can't have your third best player have one bad game and you always lose that game. That's tough.
Yeah, there's a lot there. There's a lot there. I think the Lakers just didn't have anyone underneath Schroeder. I think he's like with that Thunder team when he really resurrected his career. I think that team a little bit deep, right? Like Chris Paul. I feel like I don't know. I guess it's just inconsistency on Dennis's part.
Or he's just a bench guy. He needs to have that role and doesn't necessarily fit as an NBA starter for that reason. You can't count on it, and so if you can't count on it, you can't really expect much out of him. You know, it's really hard to lose games like that.
But today he looked great. He had 23, like 8 and 6 or something like that.
I remember there were times last year when he looked amazing, and I felt like if he plays like this, we can't be beat. And that was the problem. Like, he didn't play that way in the playoffs when it mattered. Especially when one of your best players goes down. Like, it's going to be hard with Anthony Davis out. But he couldn't really even do much to step up. Enough hate on him. Sorry, Schroeder. Don't mean to just hate on you. But let's look at the Bulls-Raptors really quick and just do a little bit of a, why were the Raptors in this game? Was it home court advantage, or are the Raptors a little bit better than we think?
Yeah, I think, well, you think about the Raptors, they won a championship, right? They still have a number of people from that squad. So, I mean, their floor is a bunch of guys who've literally won it all. And, like,
right.
they've been to the top. And so I think that just in your head gives you a certain floor that's higher than the Pelicans, right? There's an expectation. And they do have a pretty decently deep roster, to be honest. Like, they do. They have a nice core. OG Anunoby is a great young player. Fred VanVleet, you know, I think he's got every team would want. He's just a knockdown shooter, team first kind of guy. Scotty Barnes is playing well this year. They're rookie, and by the way, they're not even playing with Pascal. He's been injured all season, so. I think they are. I think Gary Trent knocks down threes, so it's just like, but they're in that tier, but they're still in the bottom tier, right? But it's the NBA. Like, they're gonna win games. So.
And not to mention, like, one of their best players, Pascal Siakam, it wasn't even on the floor tonight. So losing by 3 to a 4-0 Chicago Bulls team who has high expectations, I think is, one, you're at home, so you give a couple more points for being at home. But you also get a minus, 18, 24 points for Pascal Siakam? Like, absolutely. The Toronto Raptors are 1-3, but maybe they're a 2-2 team. Maybe they're just a little bit above 500. And in the East, as we know, that's good enough to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, that's exactly where I expect them to be, kind of 10 through 7.
Yeah.
If barring Pascal's health.
Yeah. It's going to be tough without him. Like, you look at that roster, and you need the size, you need the quickness and the athleticism that he brings, the defense. So without him, you're going to be a little hurting for talent there. But a scrappy bunch up there in Toronto this year. Checking our scores. Charlotte 25, Boston 23. This one could go overtime, just like in real life. This is a really defensive slugfest. Some of these games get scoring and they get moving, but we've seen a lot of fouls, a lot of really good matchups, honestly. Looking across, these teams are evenly matched. The difference here, I think, is LaMelo Ball. Like, if he would have had a better game tonight, maybe the Hornets take a win.
Well, it's asking a lot. He did give him 24 and 9, so for a second year, You know, and he
And
was hitting shots.
He shot 7-14 from the threes. Like, what else can he do? I guess I can't see his turnovers. Let's take a look at all the stats here. He did have 6 turnovers. He was only a +1, and he fouled out of the game. He had 6 personal fouls. I bet you that's it. He fouled out in overtime.
Timeout.
That's got to explain it, because you take him out of the roster, you lose your offensive initiator, you lose a whole lot of shooting, and that's why they're down 11. So, honestly,
Well, by the time he fouled out, I think they were down 6 with like a minute left. So
yeah, but
it was,
6 a minute left. That's doable, right? That's a bad start to overtime. But like 1-3, you're back in it. It's a 1-possession game, and when he's initiating your offense, that stinks. I've only fouled out of an overtime game. It was like a double overtime game, but I was just like in it to win it. I wasn't thinking like stay on the floor. I was just thinking do what's right for the team. Luckily we won, so he was obviously doing what was right for the team. That's what I think he was trying to do. And plus you have Terry Rozier to run it, but it's a big difference when he leaves the floor. He was a +1. Most of the other starters were in the minus.
Terry Rozier's still injured, but sometimes you just get outplayed. Like
That's true.
The
That's true.
The Hornets had percentage-wise a great shooting game. They shot 43 from the 3, 45 from the field, which isn't fantastic, but like you're getting 40 from Tatum, 30 from Brown, 23 from Schroeder. Jabari's giving you 13 off the bench. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's just like when you both play well, they make a little bit more shots.
Not to mention, I think Brown flipping the script and posterizing Bridges was an interesting little wrinkle. Maybe we'll check us on Twitter. We'll repost that dunk. But usually it's Bridges doing the dunking, and he got posterized tonight. So that's got to be rubbing salt in the wound a little bit.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown is so funny. He's such like a dry personality. But then he'll just catch you by surprise when he just booms on you. He's so athletic.
Speaking of athleticism, how about Ja Morant last night with his 40 points, looking unguardable? Now that could be the Lakers defense just not really having an answer for, which is a big concern in the Western Conference. If you can't stop a point guard, you're going to have trouble basically everywhere you go in the West. So that's a concern for the Lakers. But Ja Morant did some crazy things last night just off of sheer athleticism. He's looking like a mix of Allen Iverson and D Rose with that insane speed, insane bounce, and overall just like flashy, nice style. I'm kind of a Ja Morant fan.
Yeah. Ja is different. I don't really know how to explain it.
Like
I
his
kinda-
layup package even, right?
Yeah.
Was so
talked-
nice yesterday.
I've talked about it before. I kind of have this weird like mental ceiling for Ja that I think a lot of people have. Like, because when you see a guard who's not shoot first, like so many elite guards are in today's NBA.
Right.
I think everyone automatically puts this type of ceiling on him. But that's what's even more impressive about Ja is he's giving you 40, not shooting the 3 pretty much at all in the paint.
He hit like 4 threes last night. Like his shot was going.
Right, but that might be like his most three-pointers in the season. If he hits them consistently, he's the MVP candidate, 100%.
Well, and they keep winning, absolutely. He just looks like that perfect young player, athleticism build, where literally he doesn't have to be moving that fast, and he can just rise up and still dunk it in traffic, which is just always going to get people excited. It's just so impressive to see that. He looks so skinny on TV, and knowing like going to see a few NBA games live, they look even skinnier in real life, right? Because the camera adds like 10 pounds. And so I can't imagine, seeing Ja Morant play and just like all of a sudden be up there as high as he gets and just as strong as he looks.
Yeah, and it's so cool. He's so twisty and turny.
Yeah.
He's mobile in the air,
Yeah.
and he hangs up there for so long.
Yeah, he took Kent Bazemore on the left, Anthony Davis on the right, jumped straight up on the left side, and finished on the right side, which, because he jumps so high, he was able to come down and go, and Bazemore and Anthony Davis had already committed on the left side block, and so he had a pretty, it was a difficult shot, but that's what he's, good at, is making those types of plays.
Well, and drawing fouls too, because when you can just beat everybody vertically, there's only so much that they're gonna be able to do eventually.
Right.
So like if you just are towering over everybody with your jump, which is what he does, like you have to foul. He just stays in the air too long, and then he'll just do something weird until he creates that foul for himself. It's pretty cool.
Nice assist from Ball to Washington there. It's one of those things where you root for him, but also you want your team to beat him, which is good. I feel like that's the perfect kind of NBA star. You want him to play well because it's exciting and fun, but then you also are rooting for your team to beat his team. And it's not like I hate this guy kind of a feeling. It's I hope my team wins. Not oh no, like it's all your fault, Ja, like I hate you. It's more like great job, like good game. If you beat me, wow, you deserve it,
I think that has a lot to do with how he carries himself off the floor.
That's true.
And on the floor. You can tell he's just a hard worker, humble guy.
Is he gonna make the All-Star team this year?
Yes.
I think 100%. He's a lock. I don't know if he'll make first team. I don't know if he'll be a starter, but he's in the conversation if fans vote for him, and it sounds like he's a likable guy. And he's having a phenomenal season. So it's not out of the question, but he has to beat out Steph Curry, who he's not going to beat in All-Star votes. I don't think. That would be wild.
There's no way.
There's no way, but Steph could maybe start as a 2. I don't know. So what would be your ideal All-Star? And that's a huge question. Like, we're going to have an All-Star board behind us or something. As Boston is taking the lead here, so maybe we will get this win after all. But your starting 5 in the West is always a tough question. I think Steph and LeBron are locks. Mm-hmm. But everyone else is going to fight for it. It's going to come down to the voting, really.
It's hard to say Luka's not a lock.
Ooh, because Luka's that man, too.
And he started the last, I think, 2 years. He kind of seems like that perennial future guy who you look back and it's like, dang, he went to 13 All-Stars and started in 12 of them.
And to be fair, they don't do East and West votes for starters anymore, so it's a little harder. But if they did, it's a little easier to just think of it this way. I agree with you. I definitely agree. Luka Doncic, Steph Curry, LeBron James, and then whoever the other 2 people are. Maybe Kawhi Leonard if he's playing.
Jokic is probably locked as well.
Jokic might be a lock because he's an MVP, barring injury or anything crazy happening. And then if Anthony Davis deserves it, he might get some votes. If Zion Williamson gets some votes, he might not even deserve it, to be honest. Yeah,
I think he's going to be out for too long.
Yeah, there's definitely a 5th spot for that starter on the West open for grabs. Whoever's playing well. Whoever's taking the league by storm. Whoever has a good record is probably going to find themselves a starter in the West.
Right. You got Paul. The Clippers are 0-2, 0-3 right now. So, Paul George would be a good option.
But if Devin Booker's team is better, like Devin Booker's going to get more votes.
Yeah. Well, Chris Paul got more votes than Devin Booker last year. So that was interesting. We can see if that maintains.
I don't think he's a starter. He's not going to be a starter. He wouldn't. The only way is if he got picked as a starter. But I'm not starting Chris Paul in the All-Star game. Now, finishing the game, maybe.
Yeah, I was surprised that Chris Paul got more votes than Devin Booker last year,
Right.
but that's just how the votes turned out. I don't think either of them start.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
As Boston is kind of pulling away like they did in overtime. 8-point lead above Charlotte. Although LaMelo Ball trying to do his best to keep it close within the last minute of the game. We'll see if he can do anything. It's a 6-point game. This is when he fouled out. It was a 6-point game.
you
If he
got
makes his
Dame.
free throw.
You got Dame in the West too. We'll see if he.
Yeah, Damian Lillard is a fan favorite. He's earned it. He's deserved it. Damian Mitchell or Donovan Mitchell, excuse me,
Yeah.
is someone you don't want to pass up.
Yeah, he very well could take that spot as well.
Right.
So
I think
we'll
there's
see
3
what
locks. Out east, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid. Is James Harden an automatic starter just because of who he is? Maybe.
I think it depends on his stats and
Okay.
if he can.
Kevin Durant for sure, though. Joel Embiid for sure, barring injury. Maybe Jason Tatum is a lock to start, but it's a lot more sticky out east.
Yes, for
You could
sure.
get a LaMelo Ball with votes. You could get Trae Young might be your lock now in the East. He might be the guy with the offseason he had last year, or the playoffs he had last year, and just the hype around him. He could be a lock. I'm willing to bet that he is. Kevin Durant,
Starter.
yeah, starter. Trae Young, Joel Embiid. As the clock is winding down, Boston is going to win this one,
And
50 to 42. Oh yeah, of course. I forget about Giannis sometimes.
Yeah.
He's a definite starter. Actually, the East is kind of easier now that we're laying it out there. That's another win for us. And right now we are 29-18. If the Denver Nuggets win, if the Portland Trail Blazers win, we will improve to 31-18. How about those numbers?
Yeah. Nothing surprising really. I think that sounds about right. The volatility in basketball.
Let's take a look at our plus minus heroes and zeros. PJ Washington, unfortunately, did not have a great game. -12 for the Hornets. And our plus minus hero for the Celtics is your boy, Al Horford, with a +7. Just overall great game, doing what needs to be done to help his team win, which is what the Celtics kind of need, just a guy to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's already gotten, like, he didn't even play today because of a hip injury. So he's already missing games. So you hate to see that for the Celtics, but
that's the NBA. People are gonna get hurt, and you gotta overcome, and you gotta go. Well, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. This is our first time kind of going into All-Star talk, and we kind of started a TikTok. We'll see if that goes anywhere. But what are your takeaways for tonight, Mikey?
Takeaways. I guess the Ja Morant's real. I think that's about it. LaMelo Ball looks good. What about you? You answer, and I'll think about it more.
I think that the Celtics duo needs more is my takeaway. They can't score 40 and 30 every night. I guess they can do it every other night and have a pretty good record. The Celtics need help. They need a big. They need someone to steer the ship right once, Jalen has a off night or Tatum needs some rest. And unfortunately, I don't think it's Schroeder. I don't think Marcus Smart is your guy. They need a big, or they need help a little bit more than they have to push them over the edge to be real contenders in the East.
Right. Yeah. Either a ball handler or a lockdown bucket getting big man, I think either one of those two would help them substantially. I guess my real takeaway is the Hornets could shock a lot of people this year. If they, even if they're 500, that's like a win
good.
for a Hornet organization.
Yeah.
And with this team, they could very well do that
Easily.
And be competitive in a playoff series. I think their youth is gonna come to light this year, which is gonna be normal.
Yeah.
But the ceiling for them is gonna be fun to watch. So
absolutely. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. We are just talking buckets. Thank you so much for spending your time, and as always, keep talking buckets.
Catch you guys at Flip the Flies. We out of here.